Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is the Papa Joe Show, where Papa Joe knows. I am your host, Papa Joe, and I really do appreciate you all being here today. I had an amazing weekend. Hopefully, you all did as well. My wife and I celebrated our 11th year anniversary. So, we had a time where we just kind of stepped away and unplugged and did absolutely wonderful, fun stuff until the bike accident. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, we have fun. We like to go and play hard and pay for it later, kind of thing. Anyways, good to be back in the saddle, if you will. Those of you who are new to the show, do me a favor and subscribe and hit the bell to get the notifications when we go live. We do go live every day at 12:30 Eastern, as long as nothing goes crazy. For those of you who also know, new, check out the Patreon, scrolling on the screen, and also if you want to learn more about crypto confidential. Both of those do help the channel out, but on the Patreon, I take gloves off. I dig into things, get early access interviews, things like that. I did a live or a restream, if you will. It was the first live out here for a show that I did with recently Red Pilled. That is on the Patreon only right now. That one was going to cause problems, if you will, for the channel. So I had to pull it down as soon as it was done airing. I was already getting problems while it was airing. So, in an attempt to maintain the integrity of the channel here, that had to be pulled down. So, it's on the Patreon. If you want to go see it, check it out. It's the beginning of the month. A great time to join the Patreon. If you want to join that, that'd be fantastic. Anyhow, enough of all of that. So, today we're going to take a look at some of the interesting things going on with the markets. In general, we're going to also take a look at what's actually coming. A lot of people really aren't paying attention to this. There are a few people saying it, though. I've kind of said it in passing to friends and family. I wonder if we're going into a depression and whatnot and all that fun stuff. But we're going to take a look at it today. The reason we're going to take a look at it today is because some bigger names, if you will, are starting to talk about it. I do not have the content for it for the show for the show right now, but Robert Kiyosaki's been really talking about that recently, and talking about a lot of other issues that are going on in the world, and not just. He doesn't even really talking about crypto. He's talking real estate. He's talking bond markets. He's talking everything else. We're going to take a look at some of that stuff today. And also, if you want to do me a favor, if you stick around to the end of the show, we will have a Q&A live chat. Use it as a Q&A. So pop your questions in there and let's have a conversation. So without further ado, here we go. So today, crypto's up, which is nice, but there seems to be some pressure to bring it down right now. This is on the hour. This past hour, it looks like it really had some fun and got out of its slump that it had been sitting in for a while. Got old Bart Simpson right there. Hopefully this isn't another one. We'll see, though. I haven't had a chance to go look at the sell walls or anything like that, but it looks like there's a pretty good bit of buying pressure right there. So anyways, overall on the day, let's see, it is up on the day, which is fantastic. It did take a nasty fall all the way down, but it is what it is, right? We've been in this space for a long time. Those of us who've been holding on for, well, since the beginning or near the beginning, this is a type of environment that you like to see whenever you want to see stuff really run, if you will, and accumulate. This is accumulation phase. People are going to be buying a lot right now. This is something that I enjoy doing. This is something that people that I follow and pay attention to, they actually come in and purchase into this point right here and hold on for dear life. So yeah, the Dow seems to barely be up. NASDAQ barely up, and the S&P 500 barely up. We've got the gold being touched down, and silver is actually up a little bit, which is interesting. Divi is being played with around, up and down as well. Let's see, we've got Matic, which seems to be trying to tick itself up as well, same with Axie. And, of course, we have our mortgage rate check-in. It did come down a little bit more, which is interesting. I don't know how much this lags, to be honest with you, but we'll see here in the next couple of days. Do me a favor, if you are enjoying a beverage right now, I'm enjoying some coffee. As usual, my beautiful, wonderful wife made this for me, and really do appreciate that very much. Yeah, what are you guys and gals drinking? Still dealing with what it feels like to be whiplash from the bike ride. So that's gonna be fun. So yeah, fun times in the markets in general. So home prices are up, the stupid interest rates are up, and things haven't correlated yet. Things haven't, the dots haven't connected yet, but they seem to be here on their way. Those of you do not follow Kim.com on Twitter, you really should. I'm going to take a look at his thread here. It's interesting to say the least. If you don't follow me on Twitter, you should. It's PAPAJO, and then the number 42 on the back end of it. You go to my website, thepapajoshow.com. It is listed there at the top right-hand corner. That way you know it is me. The link for that website is in the description of the video. Again, that way you know it's me and not someone else. Yeah. This may be the most important thread I ever make. Big picture stuff about major global collapse that is coming. This is a global collapse. This is not just the U.S. people. That is something we really need to pay attention to. I will try to help you understand why the future is not what we're hoping for. It's worse than most of us can imagine. Now, I'm not trying to do doom and gloom. I'm trying to take a reality check here, okay? I'm trying to say, hey, my regulars, I do talk about stuff like this from time to time. But for those of you who are new, this is just a reality check, just a gut check. Gotta understand. We want things to be a certain way, and it's not going to be. Okay, this is something I've said on my show often. What I'm about to say here, all markets are going to come down, crypto included. But when that happens, you're going to see, well, it's going to stop at some point because people like us are just going to we're just not going to pass out any lifeboats, so to speak. It's funny, though, that our leaders know. We don't know what they're planning. But you can kind of find out. Anyhow, Kim.com here points out that the United States did not have a surplus or a balanced budget since 2001. In the past 50 years, the U.S. only had 4 years of profit. In fact, all the profit the U.S. had would not have been enough to pay for 6 months of the current year deficit. That's it. Just to put it into perspective. This country has been bankrupt for a long time. So how do we pay how does the U.S. pay for things? Well, they print money. This is what I've been talking about on the show. This is the chart that I refer to, where in the last couple of years, they printed a lot of money. A lot of money. Okay. 80% or more since way the heck back here. Something to think about. The U.S. spending and debt have spiraled out of control, and the government can only raise the money it needs by printing it. Yep, that's how the system works. If you don't believe me, go read The Creature from Jekyll Island. It explains it in detail. And that is kind of what we talked about on the Patreon show, where I interviewed recently Red Pilled. Go check that out. It is really, really good stuff. Anyways, it needs so that causes inflation. Those of you who don't realize that is exactly what's happening. It's like taxing you extra because you pay more for the things you need, and all your assets decline in value. See the U.S. money printing frenzy. I just showed you that chart. The reason why the U.S. government got away with it for so long is because the USD is the world's reserve currency. Nations everywhere hold USD as a secure asset. Gotta love it. So when the U.S. government prints trillions, it's robbing Americans and the entire world. It's not just us here in the U.S. It's the biggest theft in history. It really is. And my sound is not going to let this come through, so I do apologize. I didn't think about it. Basically, he's asked, where does the money come from? And he basically says, well, we print it. And then he's asked, well, how do you print it? Well, we just digitally do it. We don't really print money anymore. We do some, but not really. That's basically his answer. It's actually just They make the numbers up, and then they run with it, and then they just have fun with it. Do you understand? The problem is that the problem is that this has been going on for decades. There's no way to fix it because it's how the system is designed. It was designed to inevitably cause this. The reality is that the U.S. has been bankrupt for some time, and what's coming is a nightmare: mass poverty and a new system of control. Let me explain why this isn't just doom and gloom talk. Total U.S. debt, total, okay, total. We're not talking about here debt clock. So they tell you in this algorithm that runs the U.S. debt clock, the U.S. debt is $30 trillion, more than $30 trillion. But it's actually total U.S. debt is 91 trillion. So so it went up, but I guess at the time of the writing of this, it's gone up another $1 trillion. That's pretty fast how that's happening. It is frustrating, to say the least, Credit card debt's going up again, all this dumb stuff. Yeah. Fun times, right? So anyhow, $90 trillion. U.S. unfunded liabilities are at $169 trillion. Combined, that's $778,000 per U.S. citizen, or $2,067,000 per taxpayer, per U.S. taxpayer. That's a lot of money, folks. You ever going to be able to pay back $2 million? The answer is no, you're not. I'm not. Who would? Why would you? It's not yours. You didn't take that debt out. They did. The government did. The senators, the representatives, past administrations in general, they took that money out. You didn't. They used you as the collateral for it, though. Again, don't believe me, go read The Creature from Jekyll Island. Goes into some detail on how that happens. It's disgusting. It's maddening. Yeah. Anyhow, I digress. The total value of all. Actually, I forget here. Remember, the only way that the U.S. government can operate now is by printing more money. It cannot continue to run without printing more money. It cannot anymore. So that means hyperinflation. We're already there, people. We've already hit hyperinflation. We hit hyperinflation in 2020. We printed so much money in 2020 and 2021 that caused hyperinflation. Inflation is a trickle-down effect. It's delayed. We'll put it that way. It's delayed. All right. Because it is delayed, you are now starting to actually see the effects of that just start. So, what happens when a tsunami hits? You can see the wave coming. But right before it gets to the shoreline, all the water gets pulled out. And then as soon as it hits, it's a massive rush of a major amount of water. We're at the point now where the water is being pulled out. Running is not going to do anything good. You're stuck. If you didn't get out when you saw or heard the warnings, this is it right now. There's not really going to be any life jackets. This is why I say whenever I talk about how crypto is going to be the exit strategy, because people will not be able to get out of the stock market. They will go into dollars, which will be worth nothing, and then they'll try to get into crypto, and crypto's value will then explode. But value in what? Value in dollars? I don't know. Probably not. You hear all this talk about a global reset and a new monetary system, and all that stuff's supposed to happen. You know what's funny? Do you know that your mortgages and credit card debts, your cars, student loans, even, all the debt that we as an individual maybe have, not saying anybody particular does, but whatever, in general, The contract in which you are obligated to repay those debts is to be repaid in US dollars. And if they do a new monetary system, those contracts are voided by them, not you. How does that work? Well, does that mean that the debt gets discharged? Does that mean that they literally do a jubilee like the scriptures talk about? I don't know. Guess we will find out. Anyhow, let's continue, shall we? The total value of all companies listed in the US stock market is $53 trillion, and yet we are $169 trillion in debt. Yeah, buddy. The real value is much lower because the US has been printing trillions to provide interest free loans to investment banks to pump up the stock market. It's a scam. Sounds like some of these rug pulls, doesn't it? Fun. Most of the 53 trillion is air. It is. The value of the U.S. all U.S. assets combined, every piece of land, real estate, and all savings, all companies, everything that is all citizens, or that all citizens, businesses, entities, and the state own is worth 193 trillion. So we're still, that's barely over. So basically, if the country literally just decided we want to be out of debt as a nation and just liquefied everything and sold it to, I don't know, the Federal Reserve Bank, the global central banks, the people who actually want to own everything, remember that whole conversation? You will own nothing and you'll be happy. Yeah. This is going to be really nasty, folks. I really hope you're ready. That number is also full of air, just like the U.S. stock market. Let's do the math, shall we? He does a really good job here breaking it down. Total U.S. debt on paper is $90 trillion. Total U.S. unfunded liabilities is $169 trillion. Total together is $259 trillion. Minus all the U.S. assets is $193 trillion. The balance is negative $66 trillion. So that's $66 trillion of debt and liabilities after every asset in the U.S. has been sold off. You get it yet? You understand? You understand the mess that we're in? We're talking trillions here, folks. To comprehend. He's not even talking about the bond market either. That's in the quadrillions. You hear Big Square talk about that one. So if the U.S. could sell all of the assets currently at the current value, which is impossible because no one will buy them, it would still be broke. The U.S. is beyond bankrupt. This patient is already dead. This patient is now a zombie. You probably wonder why are things still going? Why didn't everything collapse yet? That's the kicker. He doesn't actually. He kind of addresses it here. It's all perception. It's what they want you to see. It's what they want you to believe. I talked about it on the Patreon show and did a video a while back where we discussed who owned what. Who owns BlackRock? Who owns Citadel? Who owns Vanguard? If you look at who owns them or who the managing board of directors are or whatever, and then go look at what they own, every major and minor U.S. corporation, for the most part, is owned by one of those three companies in some capacity. They have their fingers, their meat hooks in every company, every industry, media, food, water, medical, housing, real estate, you name it, everything they control to some regard. You go look up any company, and I will be very shocked if you wouldn't see one of those three, or if not all three of them, listed in the top 10 stake ownership of most companies. It's kind of frustrating to think about, but that is, in fact, what's going on. And then you have BlackRock going around buying real estate now. How can you compete with that? You kind of can't. The perception is that the U.S. has the largest economy and the strongest military in the world, but in reality, the U.S. is broke and can't afford its army. The denial is that all nations depend on a strong USD or global markets collapse. The reason why the US zombie keeps going is because the end of the US will end the Western prosperity and an admission that the current system failed as a model for the world. It doesn't change the reality, though. It really doesn't. The collapse is inevitable and it is coming. So, what are our leaders planning? This is the really frustrating part here. You may have heard about the Great Reset. I just alluded to this, actually. The New World Order. It is a controlled demolition of global markets, economies, and the world as we know it. A shift into a new dystopian future where the elites are the masters and the slaves without the cosmetics of democracy. These are all really good questions. Is this what we're happening? Whether the controlled demolition of the world would collapse for all, including the elites. The world has changed so much, and nothing seems to make sense anymore. The blatant corruption is out in the open, and obvious propaganda media. The erosion of our rights. What is the end game? This is why I say on my show, cryptocurrency is going to be humanity's best bet to get out of this mess because they can't control Bitcoin. They can't control blockchain technology. It cannot be done. Okay? If you wanted to create a constitution in a blockchain, you could. If you wanted to create automation in those regards, you could. Crypto, I think, is the best bet for this, for the world, because of the underlying technology that is being used for it. And if we don't, the moment people realize that, the value of the things that you hold, whether it's Divi, whether it's Litecoin or Matic, Bitcoin or Ethereum or EOS or whatever, Tron, Kosh, Axie. If it's anything you're holding, it's most likely going to significantly increase in value when this happens. We are probably days, hours, maybe weeks away from this happening. But who knows what they're going to pull out of their butts to make this happen, right? Who knows? In 2008, when it was going to happen, there were people who were calling, there were men and women alike who were sitting in these rooms calling their spouses, going, go to the bank and get everything you can out. Now, I'll tell you later. And they drained their bank accounts. What happens when there's a bank run? When they have only 10% of the reserves there? Oh, wait, they print more money, so they'll be able to give you money, but it won't be worth anything because they printed too much money. It's getting interesting. We're going to talk about a couple other things today, but maybe I'll talk about those this afternoon for the Patreon show. Yeah, I think I'll do that. I'll wait till this afternoon to talk about those. Because tune in for the Patreon, by the way. What we'll do is we'll be talking about some adoption pieces that are coming into view for crypto and some of the people and or entities that are having to eat their words when it comes to Bitcoin and crypto. And then I also want to take a look at Bitcoin and energy. There's so much to be done there with energy. And I'm going to go into some details, very interesting perspective, if you will, on how it's going to be a very positive future for crypto. But stay tuned. Tune into the Patreon. If you're not part of it, it's $5 a month. It's not a lot. It does help the channel out. And I personally do really appreciate anyone who has joined there. Because it gives a platform for me to take the gloves off and really dig into stuff. We're digging into the nuts and bolts and some stuff we're going to take a look at this afternoon. So we're going to go through the chat here now, as I do towards the end of the show, as I promised. What we'll do is I will say hey to everyone, and then if you have any questions, It's Q&A time. So pop them in there, and I will address them if I am able to do so. So if the screen will refresh. Sorry, there we go. All right. What's going on, Tom? How are you doing, my friend? It is good to see you. I really appreciate you, as always, being here. Bitcoin Management Jim, what is up? It's good to see you. Jumping in today. Not imaginative. How's it going? Afternoon, good morning, good evening. Got Johnny Holder in the house. What's up, brothers? Good to see you. Got Kim. How are you? Good afternoon. Thanks for jumping in. What's going on? Scott W. Raising Crypto. Appreciate you being here, man. Haven't seen you in a little bit. Hope you're doing well. I really do appreciate you being here today. Open-minded Bitcoin, what is going on? All is well for sure. Just really sore from yesterday. I am definitely not young anymore. And my body is going and saying, you're funny. Yeah. Good morning, y'all. Just finished Creature. Good. My 2 cents. Required reading. Yes, that's why I've been saying it on the show, Bitcoin Bull. It is required reading to understand what is going on. You know, there's a Red Pill Expo going to come down the pipe here real soon. And if you want to go actually be around the man himself and other like-minded people, check it out. It's called the Red Pill Expo. Coffee, yes, coffee is fantastic. It is amazing. I absolutely love it. And let's see, you got a breakfast meal replacement shake with chaga. You gotta love that chaga. It's good stuff. Good morning, Lithia. How are you? Good to see you. Appreciate you being here. Let's see what's going on here. We've got Johnny Mattis. What is going on? And now we are morally bankrupt too. Yep, that is, well, that is definitely true. It's sad. It's frustrating. Question from Scott W. Raising Crypto. Question for Q&A. Why is the collapse so imminent now? We have been hearing about it for over a year now. Food economy. What indicators are different now? Basically, the rapid succession of things taking place, stuff like that. With all of these types of things, there is always a delayed, it's not reaction, but a delay in the happenings, so to speak. They'll tell you. A year is enough time for people to get the word out for the globe. It's not like it's something they can just blast out. So people get ready. I mean, I don't know how long what it's gonna be like, but things are gonna get crazy. There's gonna be a lot of people gonna get hurt from it. So it's more imminent now because of how much the money they printed and everything like that. Talking about being a year. Well, guess that year, it takes about a year and a half for you to start to see the effects of it. So this is coming. It just takes time. Think about like in 2008 crisis. It's called the 2008 crisis. Well, problem started in 2005, 2006, 2007. And then a hammer fell in 2008. And it continued to fall after 2008, 2010, 2012. It wasn't until 2013 things started to kind of turn back around. It's just kind of where it was. And that's kind of the sum. We're not going into a recession this time, though. There's not been this much money printed in the history of this country. And it has been. You're just now starting to see the prices rise from it. It's going to get nasty. Tom, I could not agree more. Could not agree more. It is going to get really, really nasty here soon. And everything just jumped. Let's see, who else do we got here today? We got Larry Stevens. How's it going, my friend? Thanks for jumping in, dude. Got Divvy Daddy in the house. What's up, brother? Thanks for joining as always. You guys are great. Always here to support. Rick, you as well. Thank you. Good morning. And yes, smash the likes. If you got this far in the video, smash the likes. Definitely. It helps the algorithms find people or other people who want to see this type of content. It helps them find it. Tom, most of the central government is going to be arrested. Enjoy the show. Yep. That's also another angle at this whole thing as well. It's going to be, yeah. What's going on, Manny? How are you doing, my friend? Appreciate you jumping in and being here for sure, for sure. Let's see. We got Crypto Sherpa. What's up? Good morning. How are you? Jumping in today. Appreciate you as always. Let's see here. green bottom at the top, or green bottom on that coffee mug, huh? The whole mug's green. It kind of, you see it? Goes right through. Fun stuff. I wish that was in an office like that. That'd be pretty cool. All right. What else? Do we got any more questions? Anything like that? Let's see. Yeah, Manny, it was 80% the last 2 years. The money, he's referring to the money printing. It is crazy. Oh, fun stuff. Okay, cool. All right, you guys and gals, Patreon show this afternoon. Oh, we got Trinity Man here as well. I mean, if I missed anyone, I'm sorry. Anyhow, all right, listen, guys and gals, if you're not part of Patreon, check it out. You want to learn about crypto stuff? Crypto Confidential. That link helps channel out. And do me a favor, really, really, really try to get your friends and families to be paying attention to this stuff. It's going to get really, really bad. Anyways, you all have a wonderful, beautiful, and amazing day. I'll see you at 4:30 Eastern for the Patreon show. And y'all be blessed. Good night or good afternoon. Bye-bye.